They laughed first. "Loser," my father said. "Can't even afford a car at your age?" My mother chuckled, a brittle sound. "Maybe you should ask your brother for a ride to job interviews, if you ever get one." I didn't flinch. I just looked at them, the way you look at ants on the sidewalk. Then I pulled out my phone. One call, 2 words, "Bring it." And then I waited. Back then, it wasn't always like this. Once, they bragged about me, how I got into the best schools, landed a promising job. I thought their pride was real. I thought their love was unconditional. But it was never about me. It was about control, about comparing me to my older brother, the success in a tailored suit. When my company went under, they didn't see it as bad luck. They saw it as proof. Proof they'd been right all along. He was the winner, I was the disappointment. The switch flipped fast. Calls stopped, invitations vanished, until they summoned me today. Not for support, not for family, for humiliation. The discovery. It was during a dinner at their house last year. I arrived early and heard voices in the kitchen. "Doesn't have the head for business," my father said. "He's slow," my mother replied. "Not like his brother. I told you we should have invested in Mark's company instead." They'd been holding a family fund, money I'd been told was for all of us in emergencies. Turns out they'd given it to Mark without telling me. My father even co-signed a loan for him. I walked in, pretended I heard nothing, and let them serve me dinner. But something changed in me that night. It wasn't anger, it was clarity. The planning. You can't hit back right away, not if you want it to hurt. I started quietly. I cut expenses, sold everything I didn't need. I worked small contracts nobody cared to notice, consulting gigs, freelance jobs, until I had capital again. Then I invested, not in flashy stocks, not in trends, logistics, private transport, and then aviation. By the time I was ready, I didn't just have a car. I owned a controlling stake in a company that moved CEOs and politicians in the air. But the money wasn't enough. It had to be public. They needed to see it with their own eyes, at the perfect moment. The meeting. This morning, the call came from my father. "Family meeting, 3 p.m., don't be late." I arrived to find them all there. Parents, brother, even a couple of smug cousins. My brother was in the middle of telling a story about closing a huge deal when my mother cut in. "So, what's new with you? Still taking the bus?" They laughed. My father joined in. My brother smirked, sipping his drink. That's when I made the call. Bring it. The wait. The silence after that was heavy. My father frowned. Bring what? I smiled. You'll see. We went back to their small talk. I didn't say much, just nodded, letting their condescension fill the room. Then, 10 minutes later, the sound started. A low hum at first, then the deep, chopping roar. Windows rattled, glasses on the table vibrated. "What the hell is that?" my mother asked, rising from her chair. The climax. I stood and walked to the window. It's for me. A sleek black helicopter came into view, descending slowly until its skids touched the grass. The family's rose bushes bent under the wind from the blades. My mother's hand went to her mouth. My father stepped forward. Is that yours?" I turned to him, calm. "No, it's my ride. Mine is in maintenance." That's when my mother's knees buckled. Someone caught her before she hit the floor. I didn't wait. I opened the front door and stepped onto the porch, wind tearing at my coat. The confrontation. My brother followed me out. "Wait, what's going on? You can't just—" I faced him. "Funny. That's what you said when you took the family fund without telling me." His mouth opened, closed. "Look, that was a betrayal," I finished, "from all of you." I let the words hang there, the blades thundering overhead. You wanted a loser to point at. Now you'll have to find someone else. The payoff. I walked across the lawn, ducking under the spinning blades. The pilot stepped out, saluting. "Afternoon, sir. Ready?" I climbed in, put on the headset, and looked back. They stood there, my father frozen, my mother leaning on him, my brother pale. The cousins filming on their phones. The helicopter lifted, pulling me higher, farther, until they were just figures on a patch of green. The reflection. People think revenge is about shouting, proving you were right. It's not. It's about silence, timing, letting the truth land harder than any insult. They'll remember that day every time they look at that lawn, every time they hear a helicopter overhead. And me? I just remember my mother's words. Loser. Funny. From up here, I can't even hear her.